WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have something from Teeling, not that exotic. The Teeling Riesling Cask. Ooh, exotic. So from Reichsrat von Buhl, that's how we say it in German at least, because it is a German Riesling cask they used here. And I have a big question on Teeling and everyone out there that knows wines better than I do. It says the Grand Cru edition, or edition. Grand Cru, that is a French classification. I cannot find anything online from this winery called Rathaus von Buhl that classify their wines as Grand Crus. Now, on the back it says here, wait, let me pour this and I'll talk about this some more. Whiskybase number 191389. 2021 in September, there was actually a launch party in Germany. I was not invited. Why did no one invite me? Maybe I'm not the nicest person in the world and I don't praise everything that's in my class. Maybe that's the reason why, who knows. 3,000 bottles in total, still available. September is when it arrived here, basically in the markets in Germany, in the Netherlands, in Belgium, and also in France, interesting enough. 46%, 42, 45 euros is what we're going to pay for this at the moment. As I said, Whiskybase 191389. It says here, since its founding in 1849, Reichsrat von Buhl has stood for some of the noblest Rieslings from the best vineyards of Mittel... Wow. More of my glasses. Mittelhart, Reichsrat von Buhl, uses only the best grapes from their own organically farmed vineyards for the production of their award-winning expressions. Very good. They have been committed to this tradition since the foundation of the winery, and it was this drive for excellence that first attracted us to the Riesling casks used for this bottle. This limited edition whiskey has captured a remarkable blah, 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 blah. So our master distiller chose a complimentary collection of their superior Riesling casks from the Reichsrat von Buhl winery Grand Cru vineyards in Forst, Ruppenberg, and Diesenheim, using them to marry our small batch whiskey. And we allowed this additional maturation to occur naturally over 18 months period, extracting the Riesling cask's fullness of flavor. So they actually say here on the box that with the Reichsrat von Buhl winery Grand Cru vineyard in Germany. Actually, if you, and I went to a wine site here and tried to figure out, it's called Freunde, wine, friends of wine, and they said here, Reichsrat von Buhl have actually 4 of the top wine growing regions in the Pfalz. The Pfalz is the area in Germany, Palentina, and they even have 9 are from the VDP als Erste Lage classified. Erste Lage is first position. Grand Cru first, basically. And very impressive, 8 of the vineyards would actually be from the VDF, as the, not the Erste Lage, not the first, but the Große Lage. So the Erste Lage is Primär Cru, and the Große Lage is the Grand Cru. But you can't call German wines Grand Crus. Please, please contradict me if I'm wrong. All right? So French wines, yes. Italian wines, no. And that's the thing. You just can't mix and do like ever you want to. There are classifications, just like you can't say, hey, this is a Speyside whiskey from Glasgow. Can't do it. And there's just certain regulations and classifications that have to be upkept. All right, so the Riesling. I actually like Riesling. My wife and I have been to the region a few times. We've had a couple of vacation days down there on the Mosel, on the Rhine, on the rivers, and we've done some vineyard tours, and we've actually had some tastings down there. And we've brought back some nice bottles from Riesling, and every once in a while in the summer I buy a Riesling and just cool it down to about 8 degrees Celsius, and then in the evening when the sun sets, we'll just sit out there on a nice little balcony and just enjoy the time with each other and drink a little bit of Riesling. It's a wine that is very, very nice. I have to watch out for the acidity sometimes. I do get a little bit of heartburn from Riesling sometimes, and that's that. What am I going to compare it to? Teeling. This is the Sommelier edition. And this is the Zaltan wine cask, also small batch series. Now, I'm going to tell you something that you should already know. None of this whiskey was made in Dublin. None of this whiskey was made in Dublin. Up until this point, hardly any of the whiskeys we've had from Teeling, except for our Black Pit and our single pot still, basically, have been made in Dublin. Everything else we're getting from those from Teeling are still from the casks bought by Teeling, basically John Teeling, after he sold Cooley. Some of it could be Bushmills, most of it's going to be Cooley, and who knows where else a minor fraction might come from. Now, the other thing is the small cask collection will never 100% come from Dublin, from the Teeling Distillery. Why? Because they can only produce in Dublin on pot stills. They have 3 wonderful pot stills, very nice, and they can make single pot still and they can make single malt, but they will never ever be able to make a grain whiskey there. And so this is a mixture, more grain than single malt, and then finished for 18 months in these Riesling casks. Now, what I dislike about the packaging at this moment is there's missing the words non-chilled filtered, and there's missing the words natural color. Now, yes, it's 46%. Yes, it should be, but nowhere on the package is that mentioned. Please put it on the package, people. All right, so we have a no age statement, possibly colored, possibly chilled filtered, definitely not single malt. So a blended Irish whiskey. Ta-da! For 45 euros. Those are not the best requirements for making me happy as a whiskey lover. Now the nose. This is, the grain comes through. Now I don't know. That's the question. Can someone maybe that knows much more about Irish whiskey than I do, answer the question? Going back to Cooley, imagine it's coming from Cooley, the grain here still. What do they use there? Do they use wheat or do they use corn, maize, for those of us in Europe here, for their grain whiskey? My understanding, at least I was at the Royal Oak Distillery in Ireland. That's where it used to be Writers' Tears and Walsh and so on, and they separated. It's now Burke's, I think it's called, a Burker or whatever, Burkers. Brookers, I don't know. Nice bottle, not yet mature enough content. But they actually used corn, the maize, because they had a special mash tun with higher temperature and insulated, because the corn starch needs a little bit more energy to break it down than the wheat starch. That's what happens when you mash something, all right? You change some of that starch into sugars so that the yeast can then eat the sugars and turn it into alcohol, and then distill. You separate everything else and you take the alcohol as much as you possibly can out. Alcohol is not created through distilling. Alcohol is just concentrated through distilling. Very simply said. Yes, it's not perfect, but believe me, more or less. All right. And so what is in here? Is it corn or is it wheat? I have the feeling that it actually might be corn. And the second question is, Great Northern, I could contact John Teeling or his team and ask them what they used. Might have to do that after this video. What do they use there for the column stills? Is it corn or is it wheat? Or a mixture? Who knows? Now, as I said, I get the grain whiskey coming in through here. But what I also get, I get marigold. You know, the flowers my grandmother used to have in her garden. I don't like the flavor of marigold on my nose. It's not a very unpleasant, but it's not a very pleasant smell either. Yeah, not a great fan on the nose. Wow, soapy. That Zaltan really shows through here. I'm not sure if the Riesling shows through on the nose as I would expect. Let's try it. Surprise time. That is surprisingly, I'm going to use the word delicious. I actually like this a lot. Everyone that was at the launch party loved this as well. It's, first of all, it's got a thickness to it. It's got a viscosity. It's oily like that. Second of all, the flavor of the marigold is absolutely gone. I don't have any marigold taste. I don't think I've ever had a marigold in my mouth. It is sugary. It's orange. It's malty. It's honey. So it's very well done, to be honest. I like this. So some of the official tasting notes I found was fruity with orange peel, green apples, and the aroma of salted caramel. I'm going to go for the caramel as well, but not salted. But it does have a little bit of the caramel moment there. And the tongue, it's very full and oily. First of all, fresh and then fruity with pineapple and melon. Don't get the pineapple. And then there's a nice little spicy, sweet wood oakiness with tannins and honey. I totally get the honey, very much so. There's a long finish with a spicy sweetness and also fruit and oak, toasted oak. Very nice, very nice. So here it says, has captured a remarkable depth of flavor, fresh, light fruit notes of melon, pineapple, intermingled with nectarine and honey, with a dry minerality distinct to Reichsrat von Buhl, flagship's Riesling Grand Cru expressions. There are no Grand Cru expressions from Riesling. Sorry. And now, unique to Irish whiskey, Teeling whiskey, dare to be different. Okay. At least I Googled Reichsrat von Buhl Grand Cru, got nothing. All right, so this is a C plus whiskey, by the way. This is not. Oh, I want to try this one last time. This was very, very good. A value for money, a solid C, almost a C plus, 42, 45 euros. Now, the problem is the taste. It's good. I like it. But the problem is all the other basic information are blended. Malt and grain. More grain than malt. No age statement. Probably color. Probably chill filtered. All that information is missing. And it's just a shame here that this whiskey that tastes so good, I would like to give it even a higher mark, but it's difficult to do that because of, I'm going to call it just inadequate packaging. There's so many words on the back of this, but why don't you put the real words that count? For me and for a lot of geeks out there as well. Very nice. There's a good sweetness, there's complexity, there's different layers going on here. There's that sweetness of the honey, there's the tannins of the oak. I don't really get the Riesling, but what I think happened is, like with a food pairing, sometimes you have this and they go together and creates this. And I think that's what happened. I think they took the whiskey here and the Riesling, mixed them together, and it created something much better than the two separate individual things. Well done. Well done. I like this. I complained, I ranted, and at the end, I love it. C+. Value for money as well as a taste. Over here, the Sultan. This is too much Sultan for me. So I was just looking to see how long it was actually. This is for Bordeaux, France. And how long the maturation period was. Can't find it real quick. I like Sultan, but this is almost too much. Dial it down from 11 down to 5 and I'd be happy. This is perfectly balanced. This is well done. If you can ever get your hands on a Riesling cask from Teeling, please do. I think you will like it. So, like, subscribe, tell others, share this video with others on social media, and talk about this crazy guy over here in Europe tasting things you might not ever see. Hi, that's me. And you can also comment. My question of the day was, is it possible to have a Grand Cru outside of France, especially with German wines? And my second question is more easier for most of us. What is your favorite wine finished Irish whiskey? Is it something from the spots, a green spot, a red spot, something like that? A yellow spot? Is it maybe something from West Cork? Is it something here from Teeling? Has a whole collection of different things that they've done it. There are so many different things out there that have from Irish whiskey that have been finished in different wine casks, fortified wines as well as real wines. I can just say, wow, this is going to be up in the top probably 10 that I've ever had. Thank you very much. See you soon. Whiskey Jason. Bye-bye.